Recently I read The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft. All in all, it's a pretty good story, but there was something off about it. Something that didn't sit right with me. While reading the story, I wasn't that scared. In fact, I wasn't really scared at all. And yet afterwards, after I finished the story, I thought about it for a moment. And suddenly this high amount of fear washed over me and I felt terrified. This intrigued me. Why was this the case? What made The Call of Cthulhu so terrifying? After further research, I learned that this is a horror genre known as cosmic horror, a type of horror that is meant for us to not even be able to see, something so terrifying your mind can even begin to imagine existing. And to be honest, I really like the concept. The idea is to make you think of what you can't think, which can lead to not only frustration but also fear. Fear because you don't know what to see. I see it as the same idea as trying to imagine a god or heaven or hell. It's hard to visualize, and none of us truly understand what awaits us. It's sort of like an existential crisis taking the form of a monster. But obviously, there are different ways to look at it. After all, that's kind of the point. So what was it that only led to me being afraid until after finishing the story? I found the answer for me to be very simple. Thought. While reading the story, you're not exactly thinking about it as much as you are taking in the information. But once you finish the story, you're forced to stop and think. And once you do that, the real fear starts to kick in. The fear of the unknown. And to me, I find it to be genius that someone has found a way to show everything in the story, yet explain none of it. It's the type of feeling that I think is explored best only through the literature medium as well. I feel if you were to try and encapsulate this sense of thought through film, it wouldn't come off as well. After all, in a book, you're forced to imagine this idea yourself, whereas in a film, it's the director's idea of the topic rather than your own. The nature of this horror really can only manage to work in literature, unless done right. And there's one scene in film history that I have seen that I think does this perfectly. The bear scene in Annihilation. This scene manages to capture what I think makes cosmic horror great while also having visual representation. But why is it that in this scenario it works? It's because the scene still allows your thoughts to be the ringleader. It still allows everyone to see it differently. The bear's design to me is terrifying, and I feel like the use of the dimly lit lighting makes it even more of a monstrous creature. You can barely see what it looks like, and because of that, much of its design is left up to interpretation. To me, what I see is this big creature with flesh peeling off. It's saying that it's corrupted and demonic, like it has a new consciousness now, not one of a bear. But I've seen people say that they see a human skull in it, like it's this mesh of the two, like a horde mutation. I've seen people say that they don't even see it as a bear at all, and something more terrifying. Something hard for them to explain. And this cross with the noises the bear makes leads to something truly horrific. Noises my mind can't comprehend, and some that even sound like people. People speaking and asking for help. We know what the bear is, and yet we know virtually nothing about it. And it's only till after watching the movie and I start to think about it that I truly get scared. And that, to me, is what makes cosmic horror a terrifyingly genius concept.